Hi, Shreya. Thank you
Hello.
so much for being here with us today. We are really happy to have you here at the conference as a keynote, but also to share with you conversations and also your keynote. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, no, it's a pleasure for us. Also, you have an incredible background. We also want to know more about your motivations, your inspirations, and also how you could inspire other people around the world to make incredible things, because I'm sure that happens. So, yeah, let's start.
Thank you. Yeah, let's go for it.
First time in Colombia?
Colombia, yes. Yes, it's my first time. So I'm very excited.
What was the experience until now?
It's been really nice. I have wanted to visit Colombia for a long time. I was in Chile last spring, and I met a lot of people from Colombia, and they seemed really nice. And since then, I've been very excited about coming to Colombia. And it's been a day, a little 2 days almost, a day and a half, if you count 3 hours of immigration. But it's been really nice. Like, I love the people that I've talked to. I've really enjoyed knowing about the culture and how things are so different here, but also at the heart of things, there are so many similarities.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy the tropical nature, the fruits, the people. It's an exciting time.
Really nice. Also, could you tell us about Women Who Code program you lead at Delhi?
Oh yeah, I was a part of Women Who Code for a few years, a little more than a few years, when I was back in India, in the Delhi chapter. Women Who Code is a very special nonprofit organization for me, because it was that one place that made me feel that I belong in the field of tech, in a very gendered, skewed field of tech. It was really nice. I met some incredible women through Women Who Code, who I collaborated with, but also when I would host mentorship events, I hosted a machine learning workshop series that 300 people attended, and I really enjoyed just meeting people, teaching people whatever I know, learning from them, whether they attended it or whether I co-hosted with them. It was a really, really special organization that has given me friends for life. So I will cherish Women Who Code, and very grateful to organizations like those.
Nice. And what is the ML Nerdy Delhi initiative?
Yeah, ML Nerdy, it was actually started, the global organization was started by a by a colleague that I met through Women Who Code. She used to be a director for Women Who Code Delhi years before I joined it. And through her and collaborating with her, I came to know that she's starting ML Nerdy, and I was really passionate about the idea of bridging the gaps between academia and industry. How can you learn about designing something that is applicable for the industry, but it's research-based as well? And that's the goal of ML, with which ML Nerdy was started. So I was very interested. I talked to her, and she was like, why don't you start a Delhi chapter? I was like, I really like that idea. So that's how ML Nerdy Delhi came about to be. And I worked on it for a bit, with another friend, and we would host applicable machine learning sessions on different fields, beginner friendly, intermediate. And it was a really fun time.
Nice. I think in Colombia we have some problems with that. We have a really back between the college, universities, and the industry. What lessons did you learn there that you think could be reduce that gap?
That's a really good question. I feel, and I will cover a lot of it in my talk as well, that both of the areas academia and industry have very different ways of thinking, and both of them have their own things that are very valuable. Academia, I think, asks really deeply insightful questions, and it tries to go into the heart of why something exists and really try to challenge, do things need to be this way? Or what are the inefficiencies in this? How can this be better? From a very research point of view, and industry does the same thing, but from an applicative point of view. does this current system, is there any inefficiencies there? Are there any like corner cases for which my system might not work or can fail or can be hacked into? And both of these are like very interesting ways of thinking, and I feel like the ideal thing would be to combine deep thought with a practical mindset of how can I do something that is novel but also works for like the target audience that I wanted to work for.
Okay, that's nice. Another one hard. Back in 2019, you won the Google Women Tech Makers Scholarship. How was that experience? How you made that?
That's a really good question. Google Women Tech Maker retreat was a really special retreat. I came to know actually about it because of like the Women Who Code and like the women in tech organizations that I was involved in. And I just applied because I thought it would be a good way to meet more people from across the globe and really expand my horizons on what it means to be in tech. What are people from across the globe, what are they thinking about? What do they care about? What are their problems? And like, how can we all come together and make something really global? And with that thought, I applied to the Women Tech Maker Retreat and was very happy to be selected as one of the few candidates from India. And that year, the retreat was happening in Sydney, the Asia and Pacific retreat. And it was really fun. Google hosted us really well. I was staying with somebody who was from South Korea. And it was really fun. I got to meet people from so many different areas in the Asia and Pacific region. And I didn't know much going into the retreat, but once we were there were like so many panels, there were workshops, there were people like Googlers from different areas. Like there were some from like Sydney office, of course, but there were also people from other Google offices across the Asia and Pacific region. And they were talking about such interesting topics. Like there were workshops on like a practice Google interview round, like where they would give us suggestions on like how to actually prepare for a Google interview. And we would actually have demo interviews with a Googler who would give us suggestions and feedback. And there were like sessions on team spirit. And there were like some interesting workshops where I feel I learned so much, and it forms a great part of who I am today. Because like, for example, one of those workshops was around that you sit at a round table with other fellow scholars, and it was about like effective communication, which I think is a very important skill both like in just life. And they taught us how to effectively communicate and what it means to effectively communicate, which was like when you ask somebody a question about something that they care about, and then you truly listen to it. And one of the things was like, if you have a hard time understanding what somebody's saying, then like try to repeat what they're saying in your own words. And it was so interesting that just that simple thing helped induce so much empathy in me before I chose to respond. I would just rephrase something that they said, and then I would respond. And that completely would change how I would respond to them. So like that was like just one part of it, but it was a 3 or 4 day long retreat. And it was one of those things in life that actually change how you operate in your life. So I'm very grateful for those 3 days.
Amazing. Also, you worked with Fei-Fei Li. She is a leading figure in artificial intelligence, also real inspiration for all the women around the world working at STEAM. How was that experience? What things did you learn that you could share with us and also motivate any girl, any woman who wants to work in a STEAM field?
Yeah, Fei-Fei Li is a boss woman, and I think that's a known fact across the entire industry, or maybe the world as well. It was very enriching research experience for me. I remember ever since I was like an early undergrad, I was craving some very high quality research research team, research mentorship. And I think being in Fei-Fei's lab really honed that. I got to work with very, very talented fellow masters, like grad students, postdocs, and get mentorship about what it means to do high quality, extremely intense research. Like there were a lot of long hours that we worked at, and I could see why. Like I feel like there was a lot of merit into doing those long hours and doing that very fundamental research, like where we would question, why are we doing this? Why are we using this technique? I would do such intense literature review. Like I would read books just to understand what neural decoding meant. And then I would also present that in a small group settings in the lab. And then the entire journey it's really hard to describe in a few sentences or even in a few minutes, but it was not easy. It's it was not easy at all, but it was a great learning experience. I think I learned a lot about what it means to do research, what it means to do good quality research, and especially something that is so fundamentally groundbreaking. Like we were working on very ambitious ideas around how can we use human brain decoding, like signal decoding, to inform robot actions. That is something really ambitious, really hard. And I got to understand what it means to do something really that hard and ambitious.
Absolutely. I'm curious, I'm pretty sure so many attendees too, but personally, I am very curious about one topic of your researches because I tried to work on that topic a couple of years ago. It's hard, but it's beautiful, the EEG and neuroscience. Could you tell us a little bit more about that researches?
Oh yeah, I was at Stanford. I was interested in a lot of NeuroAI domain, which means the intersection of AI and cognitive neuroscience. And I worked on it from two perspectives. One was how can we use AI to improve our understanding of the human brain and our processing mechanisms. And the other was the other way around, which was how can we use neuroscience to improve AI in some form. So for the first thing, I was working with Professor Justin Gardner and his then PhD student, Akshay Jagdish, on using CNNs, convolutional neural networks, to map the human visual processing mechanisms. That means when I'm looking at something, what parts of my brain are doing what things. So we use CNNs to map the V1 to V4 layer and outputs the fMRI outputs from that. And also to map different layers of the neural network, of the CNN, onto different layers of the visual processing mechanisms. And we could see that different layers would match so well, or could be trained so well on different layers of the visual processing mechanisms. This is not novel at all. It was already shown a few years before I started working on it, that it worked, but we were looking at the texture versus shape bias problem. That a bias thing that exists in CNNs, but was also interestingly found to exist in convolutional neural networks that were mapped to the brain. The models that were mapped to the brain data as well. So I was trying to reproduce what was done before, but also try to add more data, see how the recent data sets can inform this understanding. That was with Akshay, and I think I kind of described the work that was the other way around, which was with Fei-Fei Li and her lab on using neural decoding methods on EEG data and decoding that to help inform robot actions. For example, a human looking at just a scene of let's say an apple put on a bowl, and you want the robot at hand to pick that apple up and just place it in a box. So how can we accomplish that using just the human brain data and decoding that live and doing that? So that is something that I was doing with Fei-Fei Li's lab. And that was where we used EEG signals and went deeper into what kind of EEG signals we want to use, how do we want to decode it. We would try to decode something and it wouldn't work. Like research ideas working in real life is hard. So a lot of those ideas wouldn't work in real life. So we had to like dumb things down so much and start from the very basic, easiest signal, and then use the most simplistic technique on that to see if something works and make something really like start from very simple and then make it as applicative as possible.
Nice, nice, amazing. Love it. Really, really love it. It's an interesting topic, and I was curious when I read that you worked on these topics and also, yeah, with Fei-Fei and really great names at the field. So really, really incredible. And now you are at Nvidia, one of the biggest companies around the world at the tech side. So could you share us what is your role there? What are your activities, and maybe how could you apply all the things you learned across all the path and now you make at Nvidia?
That's a really good question. So I'm a machine learning solutions architect at Nvidia right now. And it's very different from most things I've done in my life, because most things were they were very segregated. Like research that I did was like a lot of it was independent. Like you read books through day, or you think about ideas, you try to implement something, etc. You present it. But the solutions architect world is very different, and also at Nvidia, it's very fun, where I get to understand what do Nvidia's customers care about. What are their pain points? Like, what are the problems they're facing? And then look inward the company and see, are there any solutions we have to alleviate these problems that our customers are facing? If yes, we do have solutions, then I try to understand the solutions to the best of my ability and then pitch those solutions to our customers to see if they're open to it, how would it, and then if they're interested, then to see how that solution can really fit into their tech stack and can create impact for them. If we do not have a solution that already exists, then I work with our internal teams to see how can something like that really exist, like understand, like it's like a product market fit, and understand how to build something that is applicable and valuable to a customer in this case.
Okay. You are an inspiration, and really I am enjoying this interview with you. If I want to become a machine learning engineer or MLOps engineer, like a top class, what advice you will give me?
Oh, that's such a hard question in today's time. That's a good question. What advice would I give to somebody who wants to be a machine learning or an MLOps person? I would say know the basics. Like, it's very easy in today's time to simply use an API to build a product, and nothing wrong with that. But it's important to understand what you are doing and why you are doing it. And I think that's applicable for any field, so it might sound a little generic. But if you want to build just a product that is useful to a group of people, then really understand what do those group of people care about, and then how can I make it happen with the least resources and the least time? How can I make something very simple that can work for them? But if you care about something more like fundamental, then also I think really knowing the basics of what something is, why does it exist, why is it the way it is really important. And also to think about scale, to know who is going to be the end user. I feel it's really easy to flow away with, I'm going to build something really cool. And again, nothing wrong with that. But if you want to build something that is useful to somebody, then it's really important to know who that somebody is. Who is your target audience who would use it? What do they care about? And to build really quickly and ship really fast, get quick feedback, and improve iteratively. Your first product is not going to be like a rocket moon that goes to the moon. It won't be that. Even that, there are a lot of different steps that happen before that. So as computer, the computer science fundamental says everything should be modular, and if it's getting too complicated in that one modular thing, then you need to subdivide it. So subdivide things and do something extremely small, modular, that somebody cares about, ship it, get feedback on if what you are even thinking about is something that even they care about. Like, there can be differences understanding, right? So it's important to like ship something, get feedback on if it is good enough or not, or what can be the changes you can do to it. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. Know that, and set those expectations as well for yourself internally and externally, and get feedback and improve on it. I think it's more important to have something in a week that is like maybe 60% there, than to work on something for 2 years and nobody sees the end of it, and just things completely change. So I think it's really important to have that very modular mindset of, okay, I'm going to ship something in, say, a week, hypothetically, and really think, because it makes you think about what is the least effort that I need to do and how can I make something really simple. I feel in today's time, it's really easy to get lost in a lot of like complex words, but it's important to know, are those words applicable to me? Does my end user care about it? Can it improve my end user experience in a way, like it's like the ROI, the effort it would need to integrate something versus the value it will bring. Like a lot of different concepts that I talked about, but I feel like it's important to stick to the basics and keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah, right now you could write a neural network in a few lines of code, but you don't understand what is the neural network making of it, is the best model for you. It's important to answer the right questions.
Yeah, and it's also important to know that you are the person using these AI tools to design something, not the other way around. Like the AI tool is not governing you to doing something. So, and why that is important is if you have this understanding that I am using this AI tool to help me do something, to assist me and aid me in doing something, then you are the visionary. Like you are using your mind to decide how will the design of this look like. And then you're just using that AI tool to help fill those gaps. Like even if you're designing like an agent framework for somebody or using RAG for something, it's still important to know that, okay, I'm using, let's say, Cursor, but I am the person who's designing this.
Yeah.
Like Cursor cannot make something really complicated for me, and if something goes wrong, I'm just sitting hands on hands and like thinking about like the entire 3 days that I spent on it. It's like important to know that every step of the way, any suggestion that you accept from something, that like you are governing it, and it's there to help me through that process.
Cool. Well, outside the world of computation and research, what hobbies did you have?
Oh yeah, so many. I love art. I love nature a lot. So I love like running, hiking. I also play volleyball a lot. I enjoy reading. I enjoy looking at different forms and very interesting forms of art and creative endeavors. That can mean art history, that can mean like abstract art, that can mean something that is created from metal scraps. I just really enjoy conversations with people about anything that they're passionate about. I like discussing random ideas and collaborating on fun, interesting, innovative things. Yeah, that's just me. And I think like making really lame jokes. And yeah, that's just
we need to receive how to be really successful in technology and have a lot of activities in life. Yeah, we need it.
You're too kind.
But it's true, we need it. Last question. How did you feel the first part of the conference? How did you feel, I don't know, the lunch to share with the people? How was the experience here at PyCon Colombia?
Oh, it's been incredible. It's hardly been the first day of the conference, but I feel like I've already learned so much by just existing here. Like the keynote that Enrico delivered today, it was was a really good keynote on and a good reminder on the importance of communities and how hard it is to build a community, sustain one, and propagate one to making something really successful. I also just talking to other keynote speakers and people here. I feel like I'm getting a lot of perspective out of it's easy to be in the bubble that you are. So I'm getting a lot of perspective on this out of bubble, out of distribution, which is very, I personally appreciate that a lot. So I'm really excited to hear other talks here, to meet more people, to continue discussing ideas on how to design an AI for all, but also outside AI, what are the future technologies that we can care about, what are things to watch out for, how to do responsible technology, how to just even career-wise, how to think about your career, how to balance things, how to, I think, especially because I'm an early career, so I think it's all useful information. So I am personally really enjoying even the organizing team, just talking to people, listening to their perspective, their needs. I feel like being a solutions architect really trained me to listen to people.
Yeah.
So I am really enjoying doing that. And also sharing whatever experiences, things that I've learned from my experiences. It's very fun.
Thank you so much. And also, we appreciate it. You are here with us, and also it is important for the conference, for all the attendees. So thank you so much, and enjoy the event.
Thank you.